back in New Orleans with this guy who we had him on the BS Report last year. It was right before his career ascended. It was like watching a band put out a #1 album, and just all of a sudden he was the king of the heat check. You cause a riot on Twitter every time you get hot. You don't know this because you're playing.
Yeah, I don't have my phone on me.
You're having a great season. Stephen Curry, coming out party last year in the playoffs. And now you as an individual, have sustained it. The team not, what are you, 30 and 21 now? 30 and 22?
31, 22.
31 and 22. You're in the playoff picture.
Yeah.
There was a stretch, though, like 4 weeks ago, after Iguodala came back, when for the first time I was like, oh, these guys are legit contenders. And then a little swoon happened. What happened?
I don't know, man. We lost some winnable games, especially at home. After coming off that 10-game win streak that we had a rough patch for about 2.5 weeks where we started games off, terribly, gave teams huge leads and was trying to dig our way out of it. And sometimes it would work, but more often we'd lose the game. So, I mean, it was a tough stretch. We got to figure out how to fix that, especially at home with a lot of home games after the All-Star break. But we'll be fine, and we have a lot of confidence. The morale's great in the locker room, and obviously our expectations are high for how the season's going to end for us.
It's tough to be 9 games over 500 and be barely hanging on to a playoff spot. The West is brutal,
are different. Man. The competition in the West is crazy. We didn't play, I think, 2 days ago and jumped 2 spots, and then we played and lost and dropped 2 spots. So,
right.
I mean,
so you're scoreboard watching
It's
already.
a seaboard. I mean, we have a standings list in our locker room, so we know where we are and know what's ahead of us. So, we have a favorable schedule. We just got to take care of business.
What was the most important lesson you learned in the Spurs series last year? Because I remember I was watching TV and some idiot went on and said you guys were going to win. Oh, that was me.
That was you.
Damn.
Did you pick us in the first series too?
I don't remember.
All right,
but after no, I did actually.
Okay.
But after that first series, I was like, listen, the Spurs are old. These guys are going to come in and blow them out. And all the pieces were there, but it was just the experience and the know-how just kicks in, right?
Yeah, we outplayed them for the first 7.5 quarters
Yeah.
Of the series in San Antonio.
You should have been up 2-0.
We were up 18 and I think 16 or 18 in the fourth quarter, early in the fourth quarter, game 1, and they came back, and obviously Manu hit that crazy shot to seal the deal there. And then we had one of our best wins of the season, game 2, coming back from that heartbreaking loss and winning in San Antonio. But the biggest lesson is just about how important each possession is. I mean, in the playoffs, if you're not, getting good possessions on the offensive end, fueling other teams, offense with turnovers or bad possessions, then it's tough to overcome in the playoffs. And
right. They
execute so highly, and it's efficient with the way they play. So that's a lesson we all learn, and it'll stick fresh in our minds. Hopefully, when we get back to the playoffs this year.
You could tell there was that one game when the series flipped. In Parker especially, because everyone was like, oh, the torch is passed, Curry to Parker. And Parker comes out, he's like, oh, I still have something left in the tank, and came out and did Tony Parker things. But I still felt like that was a valuable, experience. And I really thought it was going to translate to this season, and maybe it has in some respects. But what are you guys missing? Do you feel like you're missing anything, or just teamwork?
I don't know what it is, but obviously it's consistency of our performance night in, night out. Obviously, you might have some bad shooting nights. You might have, fatigue set in here and there, but I think none of those issues have been why we've lost at home.
Right.
It's about just not executing, not sticking to the game plan, and it's a process. The different expectations all around our team and in our locker room from last year, and it's a new learning process of how to deal with a couple of shortcomings and being mature mentally to get through it. And we've done all right. I mean, I haven't had a total collapse, if you will, but it's just the expectation. You lose a game that you're supposed to win, it means a lot more than it would have in years past.
When I think it does change a little, though, when you guys were playing so well, when all of a sudden you go into a different discussion where it's like, here are the teams that can win the title, and it's 4 or 5 teams, you're one of the teams. And I think, you mentioned about expectations night today, and I'm sure when you play other teams now, nobody takes a night off against your team.
Right.
Especially against you. I'm sure these defenses now, night after night, are just trying to figure out ways to annoy you.
Yeah, that comes with the territory. You have some success in the playoffs. Obviously, we want more, but other teams and other players notice. And we have an exciting arena to come in and play, especially at home. So teams, look forward to that atmosphere and that opportunity. But it's our job to protect our home court, and like I said, it's all a part of the process. You look at like an Oklahoma City team that made their steady climb. Once KD got there, each year they got better and better and better. We're trying to do that. Like obviously last year was the first year we were removed from a losing, reputable franchise, and I think we're changing that culture, and it's a slow process, but we're learning, and we're in a good spot right now. Obviously we like to be better, but we'll take where we are.
How has your life changed the last 10 months? Because like when you came on the BS report, you were one of the up-and-coming stars, son of a relatively famous NBA player. Like, people knew who you were. But then, I really feel like in the playoffs, you went to a whole other level from a notoriety standpoint, a fame standpoint, all that. Could you feel your life changing as it was happening?
Not during. I mean, it's kind of those things, just living in the moment. I mean, going through the playoff run, you expected to play well.
Obviously, you just think about the Spurs.
You didn't expect to play that well, like I said, I've watched the NBA growing up, and that was my first playoff experience, and it was just a thrill ride. And summer was crazy with opportunities that came after the playoffs, and making sure you enjoy that, but get ready for next year so that you can capitalize on all the progress we had this past year. And it's kind of cool now when we travel, you see a lot more Golden State Warrior jerseys and, and road arenas, and like I said, we're trying to become a relevant team when it comes to contenders and winning championships, and it's fun. We have a lot of support, and it's fun to kind of see where it's all went from my rookie year.
What was your role in the Iguodala signing?
Talked to him a couple times, more than a couple times leading up to his decision and the whole
phone calls.
Yeah, a lot of phone calls. I didn't go to the meeting that he had with our front office people, but.
Did you send him gifts? Did you send him like fruit?
No, I was just consistent talking to him, making sure he knew what he'd get into if he was going to sign with us. Like I said, Coach Jackson's been great for us, being a consistent leader for us and changing the culture, and I knew he'd have fun playing for him. And so you just want to be real about what to expect if you make that jump from a team that we were fortunate enough to beat in the playoffs.
So you didn't offer him anything?
Maybe do his laundry every once in a while. No, I didn't do that.
Dinner on the road?
If he asked me to do anything, I probably would have to get him in.
It's nice to have that one guy who can guard everybody.
Yeah,
hey, Iggy, can you guard that guy?
It makes it easy for us when you can switch, with him, Harrison, Clay, Draymond Green. There's guys that are pretty versatile on that end. So, we're lucky to get him, and you can see the difference he makes in when he's healthy, how much better of a team he makes us.
Yeah, it's interesting. He reminds me of when Scottie Pippen went to Portland in the second half of his career and didn't have to have that same scoring role anymore. It was just kind of like quarterback. He allows you to play off the ball.
Yeah, it's interesting. Like, I didn't understand how much he impacts the game without taking crazy shot attempts or really looking to score. Yeah, he had 8 and 10 rebounds. Just the way that he can impact the game, sometimes it doesn't even show up on the stat sheet. Just his presence on the court and his length and the way he can bother great scorers in this league. So it's been fun to watch him and how he's gelled with our team.
Last night, we're taping this on a Thursday. You played Miami. Somehow you're in New Orleans like 2 hours later. But,
hopefully my eyes aren't too baggy. But.
Phenomenal game, like really one of the games of the year. And then you and LeBron in the last minute did a little back and forth action, and then LeBron ends up making what I thought was a terrible shot when he took it, but he's LeBron James, and it went in, it swished, and it seemed like he knew like it was going in. But Durant has gotten a lot of momentum too as the leading MVP candidate, and yet LeBron last night was kind of like, oh yeah, I'm still here. You've played against both. Can you even put one over the other at this point? They're on the same level, right?
Yeah, on the same level. I mean, obviously LeBron's got his championships, and that's what KD's striving for. But when it comes to this year and how they've been playing, any given night, they're capable of those big time performances, and it's become very often. So I've actually played against both of them in the last 3 weeks, and just the way that they get to their spots on the floor demand a lot of attention. I mean, pick and choose. They both get it done. So, and they're doing it in the absence of consistent presence from their counterparts. So
right.
It's been pretty fun to watch as a fan.
Yeah.
But obviously last night,
not as fun.
It's not as fun at all when you're on the baseline ready to celebrate a comeback win, and he drills a terrible shot for three. So pick either one of them. They're great.
How long have you known Durant? Are you guys relatively the same age, right? Like
yeah, we were
you
freshmen.
AAU circuit?
We went to NBA Top 100 camp. He actually played for my high school coach at the camp, which
really
was pretty cool. My coach loved the way that he helped his team out during that whole weekend of camp.
Yeah.
But from then we played on the World Championship team in 2010.
Right.
They won gold, and so we go have a little history. We were competing actually in college both of our freshman years, scoring champ. He got me, but.
Oh, that's right. He was like
yeah,
27.
I was glad he left after his freshman year, so I could keep rising. So, but he's a great guy. Obviously, you know what he's done for his team in the league. So,
and you guys have great games against him. It's weird. You guys, this is why we need you in the playoffs, because you have these certain teams that you play against, and the games are just awesome every time. Like Oklahoma City versus Golden State is must-watch basketball every single time.
It's been game winner. KD unfortunately had 50-something on us the third
right.
time. So, but that game came down to the wire too. So it's been fun. I mean, you love those opportunities to play the best in the league, and you show up and give the fans what they want with entertaining basketball, and that's what the playoffs are about, grinding
right.
against a team for maximum 7 games. So.
At what point in that KD explosion the last time did Mark Jackson say in the huddle, like, look, he's not getting 60, even if you guys have to punch him?
He made, I think, 2 right in front of our bench that Draymond was like just draped all over him, and now he's 6'11", so he's not going to get
right.
shot blocked, but he took a fadeaway off a catch. It's like one of the quickest releases I've seen for a fadeaway, and just drilled a 3. And at that point, we called a timeout, and we were going to try to get the ball out of his hands as much as possible. Don't reminiscent of how I saw Charlotte do Carmelo at the
right.
end of their try to keep him from getting 60, which he still got. But
well, you had a game like that last year against the Knicks.
Yeah.
We were doing the show that night, and you started to get hot. I think you did the podcast before that game, but so I don't know if I told you that story, right?
Yeah.
Magic was doing. We were working with Magic and Jalen tonight, and Magic started getting. The great players have like ESP for when stuff's gonna happen, and he all of a sudden he was just kind of watching. I was like, oh, something's going on.
That's awesome.
And then you kind of got going, but you're one of those guys. You can kind of see it as it's starting to happen. Usually you'll take like a 29-footer just for the hell of it, and like, oh, he's starting to feel it.
The heat check.
Yeah. So you can feel it.
Yeah, some people ask, like, can you feel it before the game? And that particular game, during my warm-ups, I shot the worst I probably shot all year.
Really?
And then I got in the game, didn't really do much in the first quarter. I think I had 4 points, and then made my first 3 shots in the second quarter, and had a heat check at the top of the key. And when I made it kind of off balance, I was like, just as long as I get a shot off, I feel like it's going in tonight.
Where does it rank on the all-time Steph Curry heat check games? Did you have one that you got hotter than?
In the league, I mean, not until the playoffs. Afterwards, I had 2 that were probably better than the New York game because of the
Spurs.
situation.
Yeah.
Game 1 against the Spurs, and I think games 4 against Denver. But not since college in the tournament had I had a game where it just felt like, no matter where I was on the court, as long as I got a good shot off and had a good look at the basket, it was going in. So,
is it fair to say you like a great crowd? That plays into it, because like no accident happens in New York, the playoffs, Oakland, NCAA tournament. Yeah. It does seem like this is more likely to happen in a great environment than maybe in front of 11,000 people.
There's something about that atmosphere that just gets you going. Obviously, you show up every night and play, but when you go to historical arenas like Madison Square Garden, and it being on the road is also another kicker for any guy going on the road and putting up big numbers to kind of impress the crowd, but also hush them as well when they're trying to root on their team. That's fun. That's what kind of drives you in those sort of situations.
Last question: how do you get better the next 3 years? What's the one thing that you think I need to do this. This will get me to the next level, whatever that level is?
Continue finishing our games and making plays to get wins. In the league, more so than not, it's going to come down to a couple last possessions in the fourth quarter, being able to make plays, whether it's finding teammates or making plays yourself. Continue to work defensively. You got matchups in the fourth where you got locked down, and I'm ready for that challenge as well. And just continue making smart decisions. It's with the basketball, turnovers are huge in the playoffs, and they become exponentially, tough to overcome if you give away possession. So continue process of getting better. I'm not there yet, and I'm excited about continue that process.
History says you have not had your peak year yet. It should happen like 2 years from now.
Is that age-wise, age thing?
Yeah. How old are you now?
25, so.
27 is usually the year. But we got to wrap up.
All right.
I'm going to say this, though. We're traveling for the finals, obviously.
Uh-huh.
It would be really nice to have a Miami-San Francisco. It would be fantastic.
Well, hopefully
Oakland,
we do our part.
It'd be nice. I'm just throwing it out there. It'd be nice to spend some time.
The Bay can host a great final. So
it'd be great. So, I mean, don't think about me as you're trying to make the finals, but just keep that in mind. Steph Curry, good luck this weekend.
Appreciate
it. Good luck the rest of the season.
Thank you very much.
Please tell us what you think in the comments. We read all of them, even the mean ones. Especially the mean ones. Sad face.